Hello, and welcome back to Kerbal Space Program. So, here at Spud Space Agency, last time we showed off some VTOL designs, and I said that they were mostly going to be about rescuing people from our Lunar and Minmus bases. Well, today we are going to, inside this ridiculously large craft, which doesn't even fit in the spaceplane hangar, is a bus, which we are sending up. Without further ado, let's get this show on the road. So I know I tend to normally showcase the ships being built, but I have already kind of showed off the craft that I'm going to be using a bit, and basically I just wanted to strap on as many rockets as I could to get this thing up into orbit. So we've got, down at the bottom, a mammoth engine surrounded by vector engines, with two mammoth engines on either side, and then these thoroughbred solid rocket boosters, which all in all is a ridiculous amount of thrust. Carrying extra weight there because those are used up. There goes the rocket boosters. Oh, that's a big plume. And so yeah, this thing is just a little bit ridiculous, not gonna lie. So yeah, we've got the massive rocket parts down here. I'll showcase this second half of the orbiting stage up here. In here is mostly the same bus that I showed at the end of the last video. I will do another run through of it though, as and when we get to that point. There goes that one. So this, I used an engine plate for the first time because there weren't any rocket sizes I really liked for this sort of width. So I just thought I'd try them out, and it's pretty cool. It means I've got 5 vector engines powering this stage. But I'll definitely use those a bit more because it's quite handy being able to just customize how many different rockets that you want on a stage. Oh, there we go. The only problem with having such a ridiculously large stage here is that it takes a long time to maneuver or anything. Oh, but there we go. We can deploy the fairing there. We can see the bus in all its glory, and immediately obvious might be the fact that there are now some drills on it. But other than that, not much has changed. I added in some aero brakes just to try and help slow down in atmosphere, and I've added in like ore processing things to go along with the drills so we can refuel this thing, which is quite nice. But other than that, it's largely unchanged from the original design. So I think first point of call is going to be heading over to Minmus. So let's set that as our target and just head straight over. Well, that's our Minmus encounter sorted. Not the most equatorial of orbits, but it'll do. It's Minmus. We've got plenty of fuel for it. So in true Spud Space Agency fashion, this bus was designed so that once it was in orbit, it has enough fuel to go to the Mun or Minmus and land. So I could have easily got over and landed on Minmus with the fuel that's just in this, but I went a little bit overboard on the rocket that I used to get up into orbit, so we've got a ridiculous amount of fuel left, so we might as well use that up since we've brought it up here. There's Val in the front. She's piloting the actual whole craft, and then can't quite see inside, but inside the cockpit here oh, I didn't mean to do that. That's not the first time I've made that mistake. I should really be a bit more careful with that. Well, you can't see anyone else, but Bob, Bill, and Jeb also couldn't resist the thought of going on a SpaceBus, so I brought Jeb, Bill, and Bob over as well. I don't know why they picked seats like... Who was that? Was that... So Bob picked a seat like miles away from everywhere else. Bill decided to sit over here, and then Jeb was just like, I'm gonna sit right behind Bill. Oh, and Valentina's just got a lovely view. Not the most nice of orbits, but it'll do. So here we go. The bus is in orbit around Minmus. Oh, that's nice. We can see the Mun and Kerbin off in the distance. Cool. Well, we want to make sure that we are landing down at the Minmus outpost, so let's warp around so that that is in the sunlight. That should pass us over quite nicely. As long as we land in the flats, we should be absolutely fine. It should just be the case where if we land on the flats, we can just drive anywhere because it is just a bus. We can just drive about on the surface. Once again, I always forget about the fact that things do move in space, so readjust that. Excellent. Well, we don't really need this stage anymore because it's just gonna be more hassle than it's worth. And here we go. We are now fully just in control of the bus. And there's the marker for the surface base. Let's start slowing down here. So let's open the bay doors for the VTOL, activate the VTOL engines, deactivate the ones in the back, brakes on for landing, and point the camera down. Oh, turn on RCS, that would help. Might as well try to get as close to the outpost as we can. Makes the most sense. Oh no, stop turning. I don't want you to do that. So I don't quite like where we are going to land. So I'm just going to push us forward just a little bit by activating these vector engines. I'm going to drop down a quick save because I don't trust the thought of this thing. Sorry, not this thing. The craft can work fine. I don't trust myself not to mess things up. Whereas I can turn off Kerbal Engineer because it's kind of just in the way. Oh, that was a lovely landing. That was like the most smooth landing I've ever done. That was nice. Cool, well. Ooh. However, make sure to switch control back to that front cockpit because otherwise you just, try to turn and tilt your ship over, which isn't ideal. And just turning up all of the traction and friction control of these wheels so that they can brake a little bit better, because trying to slow down on Minmus is difficult with this thing. I did a test to make sure that I could still land on Minmus with the extra things that I added. I don't quite know why we're building... Oh, that was bad. I don't quite get why we're not slowing down at all. That's kind of worrying. Okay, well, first reload. Oh, hello. I forgot I didn't actually do one whilst on the ground. There we go. Right, this time let's quick save whilst on the ground. Just check. If I hit the brakes, do I actually at least start slowing down? Okay, I am. That's fine. I don't even know how long the guys who have been on here have been here for. I think it's something ridiculous because we've just kind of ignored them, left them here whilst we've done so much other things. Well, there we go. Let's send Val over to go and pick these guys up. I think these guys have probably been up here for about 10 years, which do feel a little guilty for. Ooh, they've been up here for 18 years. I am very sorry, guys. Well, we might as well transmit this science one last time. Let's start getting these guys out. Who have we got? We've got Patgun. Oh dear, Patgun. Right, actually, yeah, it makes sense to, whilst we're bringing, even though there's only one more to bring over, we're going to want to refuel anyway, so let's open up these bays, extend out these, deploy the drills, and start harvesting. Fredus, you're the last one, which makes the Minmus outpost empty for the first time in 18 years. There we go. Threads the needle and boards the ship. Let's grab Valentina back. Don't want to go anywhere without our pilot. Imagine, though, being stuck up here for 18 years on what was the earliest sort of attempt and representation of building a surface base. And then our technology has advanced so much more that we now have a literal flying bus that's like, what? 1, 2, 3, 4, like 6, 7 times the size of your entire research base that you've been stuck on for years. And we're just like, oh, I'll send up a bus to pick you up. Cool, let's just time up till our tanks are full. Spent 2 weeks, but, you know, what's another 2 weeks when these guys have been waiting for so long? And there we go. It is time to say goodbye to the Minmus outpost. Activate VTOL control. And let's show the research guys what the science data that they've been sending to us for all these years has been for, as we ascend our bus off the surface of Minmus. There we go. Some of them are looking a little bit worried in there, but not to fear, they're fine. I wasn't paying attention to how quick. Oh no. I got too excited with taking off and I forgot that we were going from Minmus and I needed to use about 140. Right, that's so much fuel wasted. I can't ignore that. Minmus takeoff, take 2. About 15,000, that should be fine. Used a little bit less fuel than last time's, but wasting 700 meters a second, because I'd have had to use that same amount to get it back, so definitely would not have been worth it. Cool. Right. Now to try and rendezvous with the Mun. Never done a transfer from, well, Minmus to the Mun before. Oh, well, that's an encounter. I'm inclined to just stick with that as an encounter, to be honest, and then we can adjust it as needed when we're on our way to it. I need to remember to, like, lock it to stability assist as opposed to following the maneuver, because when I keep doing burns like these, it just... the maneuver node spins at the last minute and I just lose control of my rocket. Well, there we go. Cool, that's quite a nice equatorial orbit for the Mun, which will be handy as moon base is on the equator. I forgot to do the thing that I was just talking about. Right, well, we need the Mun outpost to be in sunlight, so let's just wait till that happens. Oh, I completely forgot. We brought spare ore with us. We carried extra weight. Start processing the ore, I guess. Might as well start getting prepared to deorbit. Helps if I have the right engines activated. This appears to be going quite well, which is nice. Practically going to drop on top of it. Wanted to make sure that I was a lot more accurate with the Mun landing because, I mean, it takes a bit more fuel to land, but also driving around on this terrain is a little bit more difficult than driving around on the flats of Minmus, so... Not quite as graceful as the Minmus touchdown, but not bad either way. Turn off RCS so we're not trying to like weirdly tilt up. And it's just over there, not bad. Never deployed the surface science here. Oh, but we parked right outside, that's nice. Well, let's get drilling started. And let's get these guys over. Oh, I guess that means those ones are actually set up properly, which is nice. Cool, let's get this man over to the bus. And finally, Maxberry. Oh, wait. There's still signs to transmit from here. Not that I need it, but... And there we go. That is everybody back. 5 Kerbals in there. We've got a 5 Kerbals plus the 3 tag-alongs in there, as well as Valar Pilot. Let's start resource harvesting again. And, well, let's take off from the Mun. Not quite as smooth of a takeoff, but we're still fine to just activate these vector engines and head straight in the direction we need to go. Sweet. And let's head back to Kerbin. Cool, that'll do. Whilst we've got this in the sun, I realise I never really gave much of an overview of this thing. So, if you didn't see it last time, we've got 3 vector engines at the back, which provide more than enough thrust for taking off places. We've got a vector engine in the bottom here to provide the lift for VTOL. And then just to balance out the weight at the back, I've got this here. We've got these 2 massive big drills at the front, as well as up in these radiators, because the drills and fuel converter create a lot of heat. So you want to dissipate that heat to makes it run more efficiently. We've then obviously just got all the wheels at the front and then control at the front, and loads and loads of parachutes on top just to be safe. We've also got plenty of SAS modules dotted in throughout the different parts. I think there's a couple in there and maybe one in the back there. Anyway, let's head back on over to Kerbin. Put these away. And the good thing about this craft is if I point radial in, well, on my very first tests of this, I tried it re-entering and I exploded all of the wheels off because they're quite sensitive to the heat. However, the top is decently heat resistant. So if I just point radial in and just truly go vertical through the atmosphere, it means that we slow down decently without blowing up all the wheels. So we can even drive when we get back on Kerbin. Let's actually point retrograde here and just bring this in because we've got a lot of fuel and I'd rather just land quicker. We could just aero brake to save ourselves a lot of fuel, but it's not really going to be super necessary, to be honest. Hopefully I will land over some land. I think that's land there, so that we can drive about when we land, just because that's kind of fun to do. Good thing from going to Minmus to the moon is that our sort of entry heat isn't quite as high, because if we'd have gone to the moon then Minmus, we'd be coming back a lot quicker if we'd have gone straight from Minmus, which means a lot more re-entry heating. Oh, nothing's blown up, which is nice. And there goes the parachutes. Just doing our best to try and land vertically. Nothing even broke, I don't think. There we go, these guys are back home. They've seen green for the first time in 20 almost years. Probably going to take quite a lot of acclimatization to go from like Minmus gravity to back to Kerbin gravity. But there we go, we have brought them all home. So guys, that's the end of this today. Thank you very much for watching, and I hope to see you next time. Bye.